Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You might be checking your calendar right now and realizing this monthly is dropping on the 25th. It's a little bit ahead of schedule. Don't worry, your calendar is not broken. That's because your boy just touched down in Iceland. It's a trip I've been looking forward to for a long time, and I'm finally making it happen. So yeah, the monthly was either going to be late or early, and your boy loves being early. But even as I walk in the footsteps of fictional character Sam Porter from Death Stranding, because let's be honest, the game is just Iceland, not America, I'm worried. I worry about all the co-op games dropping at the end of July. When I get back, I'll be staring down Abiotic Factor, Killing Floor 3, and the early access drops of Grounded 2 and Undermine 2. It's a lot, but that's exactly why we invented the monthly, to help you sort through all the co-op games that came out this month, all the co-op games coming out next month, and any co-op news in between. So even if it's early, we've still got plenty to talk about in July's monthly. Let's get into it.
While it might be a shorter monthly this time around, don't worry, we still got plenty of co-op titles to talk about, so let's hear how July's releases stacked up. Kicking things off was Mycopunk, a 4-player online co-op shooter that launched on Steam July 10th. It's technically in early access and priced at $15 though the devs kinda label it as a 1.0 release with the intent of using early access to gather feedback and add things like narrative missions. Critic reviews are limited, but PC Gamer gave it a 79. Over on Steam, it holds a very positive user rating with over 1,000 reviews. We're still working on our full review, but so far we've enjoyed our time. Gunplay is solid, mission variety keeps things fun, and the game's sense of humor helps us stand out. The biggest drawback is slow level progression, which locks more guns behind too much grind, a criticism PC Gamer echoed as well. If you're looking for something new while taking a break from Helldivers 2 or Deep Rock Galactic, Mycopunk is worth checking out, just don't expect it to reach those same heights. On July 14th, we got the release of Hunters Inc., an early access title where you play as rampaging orc hunters taking down giant monsters. Clearly inspired by Monster Hunter, you can harvest skills for crafting materials and choose from 4 different classes. The game has a fun, cartoony vibe, with players comparing it to a mix of Monster Hunter and Deep Rock Galactic. With around 70 reviews, it's sitting at a mostly positive rating on Steam. If you're into co-op hunting games, check this out, or at least save a spot for it on your wishlist. Another early access release this month is Neon Abyss 2, a 4-player online co-op roguelike. While critic reviews are limited, the game currently holds a mixed user rating on Steam from around 800 reviews. The general sentiment is that it's not quite living up to the original. Fans appreciate the upgraded visuals and new co-op support, but many feel content is a bit light and some of the chaos and mechanics that defined the first game have been dialed back. We'll be keeping tabs on this one, hopefully it levels up by the time it hits 1.0. Donkey Kong Bananza is everything we hoped for and then some. We've both been playing a ton of it, and I even got to dive in during a long flight home from my birthday trip, which was perfect timing. Critics are on the same page, with the game earning a strong 91 on OpenCritic. That said, most of those reviews focus on the single-player experience. We haven't seen many talk about the co-op mode. That mode has the second player control Pauline in a bit of an on-rail shooter mode that maybe gives her too much destructive power. We haven't had the chance to try it out ourselves, but early impressions have been encouraging, if a little chaotic. Polygon's excellent write-up summed it up best by saying that handing your kid a Joy-Con is like giving them a weapon of mass destruction in your games. Sounds fun, right? If you've played Bananza in co-op, drop your impressions down below. Warship was one of the more intriguing indie titles to emerge from Summer Game Fest, blending Pikmin-style gameplay with a cultish roguelite twist for 2 players. It recently launched in early access and currently holds a mixed user rating on Steam with around 70 reviews. While the gameplay and eerie vibe are earning praise, many players are reporting a host of bugs and technical hiccups. The devs are already on it with a public roadmap in place and the first minor update scheduled for August 8th. If you're interested, it might be worth waiting for that or the major update planned for this fall. Look, we know there's a lot of early access in the mix this month, and that's not always everyone's favorite thing, but hey, don't shoot the messenger because yes, here's another one. After years of waiting, Undermine 2 is finally here, launching into early access on Steam earlier this week. This sequel builds on the original with action-adventure roguelike gameplay and now features 2-player local co-op. There are multiple playable characters, each with unique stats and abilities. Reviews are still trickling in, so we'll circle back next month once there's a broader consensus. One of the biggest releases this month is without a doubt the 1.0 launch of Abiotic Factor. This is easily one of the most requested games you've all begged us to check out, and judging by early impressions is living up to the hype. PC Gamer gave it a glowing 92, calling it an instant survival classic and one of the best games they've played in years. It's currently sitting with an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam with over 24,000 user reviews. Post 1.0 reviews are holding strong at overwhelmingly positive as well, with over 800 new ones already pouring in. For the uninitiated, Abiotic Factor is a 6-player online co-op survival crafting game, and it's available now on all platforms except Switch. You can also grab it on PlayStation Plus Extra and Xbox Game Pass. With our episode going up a couple days early, we'll be missing out on the reception of a handful of titles releasing right at the end of the month. But we still want to put these on your radar, and we'll be sure to circle back to see how they did next month. So let's start with Killing Floor 3, a 6-player online co-op shooter and the third installment in the horror FPS franchise. It's out now on all platforms bar the Switch as of yesterday, so if you've managed to hop in for some action already, drop us your thoughts down below. We've played Metroidvanias, Puzzlevanias, but is the world ready for the first Dinovania? Personally, I don't think so, but here we are. Primal Planet is exactly that, a Metroidvania with dinosaurs, which automatically makes it better. It features 2-player local co-op with 1 player controlling a cave dweller and the other playing as his trusty dino companion, who yes, reportedly gets a whole lot bigger. It hits Steam on the 28th, so go give it a look. Crazy to think we didn't know about Grounded 2 months ago, and now it's releasing a mere 4 days from now on the 29th. This is a 4-player online co-op survival title launching onto early access on Steam, Xbox, and Xbox Game Pass. Expect the same charming Honey We Shrunk the Kids sandbox, now with rideable bugs, a huge starting zone, and much more. Strange Scaffold is one of the most interesting developers in the industry, cooking up all sorts of weird little titles, and their next game is Co-op Kaiju Horror Cooking, a very descriptive title. As you can expect, you play as medieval monks aiming to prevent the apocalypse by keeping giant kaiju monsters fed. Totally makes sense, right? If you're looking for something, shall we say, unique, check this out. It supports 4-player online co-op when it hits Steam on the 29th. And lastly, we have Frosthaven launching onto early access on the 31st. This is an adaptation of the board game sensation featuring 4-player online co-op. If you're a fan of the board game or other tactical RPGs like Baldur's Gate 3, this could very well be up your alley.
Alright, thank you Gabe for touching on all the co-op games from July. I'll take over and cover what's coming out in August. Guntouchables is our first game of the month, dropping August 7th. It's an isometric roguelite shooter where you and your friends play as bean-shaped preppers trying to survive the apocalypse. Yes, it looks a little bit silly, and I kinda hate this one enemy in this trailer that spits out I don't even want to know what, but don't let the art style completely fool you. This one's published by Ghost Ship, the team behind Deep Rock Galactic, so it's got some serious credibility behind it. As a roguelite, you're going to upgrade your characters throughout each run, but the unique twist here is that you'll also have to upgrade the enemies as you do that. That adds a layer of group decision making that could really shake things up in a fun way. And rather than launching into early access earlier this year, like so many other co-op titles, this one is actually going straight to 1.0, which is kind of refreshing. A little odd for sure, but this looks like a game with a strong team and a clear vision behind it. Definitely looking forward to this one. A game that totally snuck up on us until recently is Abyssus, launching on August 12th. It's a fast-paced cooperative FPS with roguelite elements, and it's shaping up to potentially be a blast. The setting alone is very striking. I finally have a solid reference point for Punk, and I'm kind of into it. But the gameplay looks just as promising, with flashy abilities and a solid arsenal to experiment with. You'll have access to 8 customizable weapons and 45 weapon mods to power up with during a run, which should make every session feel fresh. There are also several several bosses that look like they'll really shake things up, and like Guntouchables, this one's skipping early access and launching straight into 1.0. Love to see that confidence. It's not often a game makes it into the monthly at the last second that I've never heard of, but this one has, and I'm pleasantly surprised and hoping it delivers. Skipping ahead in the month a little bit here, we've got the biggest co-op release of August, Dying Light the Beast. This is the third entry in the series, and it's going all in. Kyle Crane is back, and now he's a souped-up zombie-human hybrid, which is actually what the whole thing is about. You're kind of like a beast now, and you can just Hulk out at will as far as I can tell. Alongside that wild twist, the game is leaning hard into gunplay and vehicle combat while still keeping the rooftop parkour that makes this series iconic. Visually, it's a massive leap. Like, how is Dying Light the Beast looking this good? Genuinely impressive next-gen glow-up. But what actually matters to us is the dev team's promise of a better shared progression system, letting you actually adventure through the full game side by side. If they pull that off, I'm 100% in, because when Dying Light hits, it hits. Pizza Bandit describes itself as a unique blend of cooking and shooting, adding a little extra spice to the third-person shooter genre. And honestly, I kinda see it. What I'm watching feels like if you took Helldivers, sprinkled on some Italian seasoning, lathered it in your mama's homemade tomato sauce, and then left it out overnight. Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh, but this is launching into early access, and it kinda looks like it too. Still, IGN got some hands-on time with it, and has surprisingly positive things to say about its Gears of War meets Overcooked chaos, and apparently making pizza is only the beginning. There's time travel, sushi restaurants, mummies. It's unhinged in the best way. It might have just the right mix of quality gameplay and meme-tier absurdity to be a hit. We'll all find out when it drops on the 25th. Speaking of Gears of War, if you like yours done the classic way, Xbox is serving up a special dish with Reloaded, a fully up-res and upscaled remaster of the original title. This one's coming with cross-play, cross-save, a PlayStation launch, which still gets me every time, and the happy return of split-screen co-op. I'd love for this to be the excuse we need to finally knock a true co-op classic off the backlog, especially with E-Day presumably landing next year. There hasn't been a lot of good news out of Xbox, or really Microsoft in general lately, so maybe Reloaded will be a rare win and a much needed breather for everyone. Well, if you thought Pizza Bandit was weird, have you ever thought about playing as sexy goblin maids hired by a dungeon master to clean up the mess between adventurer raids? If you have, then you can go ahead and just close out of the video. No, I'm just kidding. I actually have a great game for you. Also launching into early access this month is Goblin Cleanup, and yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. You'll be mopping up blood and guts, repairing mimics, refilling loot chests, and scrubbing dungeons back to the dungeon standard we all expect. Like Pizza Bandit, this feels like it's walking that fine line between absurdity and potential brilliance, and it might just be weird enough to pop off on Steam. We'll find out, just like that one, at the end of the month. We're finishing the month with the launch of Destiny Rising, the spinoff that takes the Destiny universe to its absolute limits. And when I say limits, I mean monetization limits. Because it's a gacha game that might actually be good. One of our favorite YouTubers, SkillUp, did a preview a while back now, and while he couldn't weigh in on the gacha mechanics, he admitted the gameplay itself was surprisingly solid. There's a ton of content packed in here, and it kind of just hinges entirely on how aggressive Bungie wants to get with monetization. Judging by the state of the studio right now in this moment, I'd guess very. That said, I am curious how this shakes out, player reception, critic reception, the whole gamut. Keep your eyes peeled for more when Destiny Rising drops at the end of August.
And before we move on to our news segment, let me take a quick second to tell you about our Patreon. Running a YouTube channel is hard work, and your support is what keeps us going. That's why we're super grateful for all our patrons. Joining their ranks gets you all sorts of benefits like a monthly newsletter, voting on upcoming video topics, and access to our Patreon exclusive series, Play and Banter, where we give you first impressions of games with some unfiltered gameplay. Check out our 2 tiers by following the links below and consider supporting our humble 2-man team. Now let's get back to the show.
Alright friends, I'm back to start off the news block for updates on existing titles, and I hope you like ports because boy do we have a lot of them. So much so that I'm just gonna block them all into one. Some are from last month though, and some are from this next month, and one is actually from September. So with that in mind, we're gonna go in chronological order, and let's just call it Portapalooza. Play a fun little tune, add in a weird sound effect, because why not? Everyone loves a dumb bit. On the 8th of July, we got the port of TMNT Splintered Fate on Xbox Series consoles. This is a stellar Hades-like that we actually played earlier this month for a sponsorship. Feel free to check out that video to see our thoughts during a Let's Play. Ready or Not arrived on both PS5 and Xbox Series consoles on the 15th of July. This is a first-person shooter where you play as SWAT police units. Wild Hearts S is the port of the title to Switch 2 on the 25th, with the only new content added is a 4-player co-op mode. Previously, the game was maxed out at 3 players. If you've looked at the demo, it actually looks like it plays pretty well. We highly recommend this one, 100% stacks up with Capcom's Monster Hunting. On the same day, we get Enter the Gungeon on iOS and Android, and it comes with online co-op, pretty cool. Wargroove 2 makes its way to both iOS and Android devices on the 30th. Doesn't have the co-op campaign the first one had, but hey, you can always make your own like Gabe and I did back in the day. Cat Quest 3 was our co-op game of the year last year, and no, we were not doing that ironically. It's just that good. You can play it on iOS on the 8th of August, and you definitely should. Helldivers 2 drops to Xbox on the 26th next month, proving that crossplay knows no bounds as long as freedom is involved. And finally, the console port of Void Crew arrives on the 4th of September for PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. This was a well-received chaotic action roguelite that had you and your friends manning a spaceship and prepping or upkeeping it for intense interstellar space battles. Alright, with Portapalooza behind us, let's move on to a couple more updates from existing titles, starting with the Division 2 and Payday collab that frankly no one asked for. Seriously, I don't want to be a jerk, but this just feels kind of awkward. How relevant are these two franchises in the middle of 2025? Maybe I'm off base, maybe I'll catch some flack in the comments, but I'm pretty confident Payday masks and the Division weren't on anyone's bingo card for the July monthly, and there's probably a good reason for that. While I also definitely did not expect Avatar Frontiers of Pandora to get a third-person mode, I'm not going to knock this one because this game is an absolute visual stunner. Gabe and I played it for the channel when it launched, and if you're into Far Cry and you like this franchise, you're probably going to dig this one. The update conveniently drops right around the release of the upcoming movie this December, and yeah, I might just re-download it, if only to fly around on my Banshee or run through the forest again for a few minutes. It's just that good looking. There's more to the update too, like a New Game Plus mode and other additions. If you're curious, check out our original review to see why this might be a good time to jump back in, because this is probably one that could have flown under the radar for you. War Tales was a gritty mercenary management sim that Gabe and I checked out back in 2023, and it just keeps delivering content. The devs dropped an updated roadmap for the rest of 2025, and it's still packed. First up is the Community Update 6 arriving later this month. It adds Tier 5 gear, a slick new notification log to reduce screen clutter, and a big boost to roleplay flavor with 20 new traits and 40 new confessions, including some written specifically for unique characters you recruit. There's also a round of performance optimizations to keep things running smooth. And then in September, we're getting a full DLC that lets you claim and build your own fief, managing districts, producing goods, and making all the big ruler decisions that come with that title. They're also reorganizing how DLC is sold. Expansions will be big narrative drops moving forward, and they're going to cost $20, while contracts focus on smaller gameplay systems, and they'll be $13. And if you're new, there's a starter edition bundled to ease you in, or the Mercenaries edition for the full package. If you fell off War Tales, this could be a great time, but it feels like they're never going to stop making content for this game. I'm genuinely amazed. So yeah, check it out if it looks like your kind of game.
Wow, he wasn't kidding. There really were a lot of ports there. To round out our news section, let's close things out with news on upcoming co-op titles. We don't have any new announcements this month, so here comes your final bit of news. Under a Rock is an upcoming open-world survival crafting game with online co-op for up to 10 players. It's headed to early access and has slowly been revealing more of its gameplay, with the latest trailer highlighting combat, weapon variety, and enemy types. It's looking promising, now we just need a firm release window. So, you guys remember E3? Yeah, those were the days. One of the last big reveals we got during Xbox's 2021 showcase was Contraband, an open-world co-op heist game from Avalanche Studios. With all the recent Xbox Studio layoffs and cancellations like Everwild, it felt safe to assume that Contraband had quietly been shelved. But maybe not. New job listings on LinkedIn suggest the project is still in development. Hard to say how valid those are, but I personally love to see this one come back to life, especially if it keeps that co-op focus intact. Gods TV is an upcoming 2-player online co-op roguelite that sees you compete in a reality show to earn favor from otherworldly godlike entities. The game's incredibly stylish with loud cartoon visuals and over-the-top character designs like this pizza face guy that I 100% plan on maining. It just hit Kickstarter and absolutely smashed its goal within a day. Beyond the wild visuals, there's depths too with different classes and some life sync gameplay between runs. If any of that sounds cool, go check out the Kickstarter and maybe wishlist it while you're at it. Digital Extremes recently gave us a brand new look at Soulframe and dropped a pre-alpha demo called Soulframe Preludes. This marks the first time the public could get hands-on with the game without needing an exclusive invite, as long as you signed up via the website before July 20th, that is. If you haven't been keeping up, Soulframe is a fantasy MMORPG from the team behind Warframe, and I've gotta say, what they've shown so far is seriously impressive. While it probably won't hit its original 2025 launch window, here's hoping we get a proper release date before the year's end. 2 at Scale is Riot Games' new 2v2 tag team fighter set in the League of Legends universe, and we just got a fresh look at it with this brand new gameplay trailer showcasing Vi. You can tag between 2 champions on your own or pair up with a teammate for full duo chaos. Andrew and I had a great time with Multiverses, so I'm really hoping this delivers that same chaotic energy. There's no release date just yet, but a closed beta is set for September 9th exclusively on PC.
Alright guys, as always, thank you for watching. Hope you're enjoying your summer, playing games, and just being cool people, because we like cool people here at The Bros. If you think that we're cool people, we'd appreciate a like on the video, or a sub if you're feeling cool yourself, or you just want to keep up with all the latest co-op news and reviews. That's kind of our whole deal. And if you're really cool, you'll join our Patreon for some extra benefits. Seriously, our patrons, so cool. Alright, I'm going to keep it cool over here in Iceland. Gabe is going to keep it cool in the States. And we'll all keep it cool until the next time on the Co-op Bros.